definitely I felt like in a little bit of the same boat since the final season part 2.
Just saying it out loud is just so tough.
That's where, I started to kind of check out a little bit mentally.
Yeah.
I think I was like losing my, I was like, okay.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I kind of really
Final
felt.
season part 2.
I genuinely felt like it was one of the like more boring sections of the show for me. Because
Oh my god!
Talk your talk, King. Talk your talk. Don't mind him. Talk your talk.
I'm dying here.
yeah, you can take it. There's a very big reveal at one point during the show. To do with Aaron. Well, there's many big reveals. With Aaron.
Let's think about some of like the small things that happened in the second season. Wait, what was the opening called again? The Rumbling. That's like a tiny event that didn't have any impact on the major story
I don't know if I'm
or
crazy.
anything.
Banger song.
Yeah, the song was the best part of that. I'll be real. The rumbling when that started happening, I felt like it was genuinely just boring.
Wait. There is so much we gotta unpack here. Why? Boring?
Yeah, I kind of liked, there was the reveal before this where it was revealed that Aaron had an ability that we didn't know about that had a bearing on the entire story, and I thought that was really cool. And then they just started going on and on about the backstory, about where this all came from.
Yeah.
And it just started to feel like, I was like, and I know it's not, but it started feeling like super bloated for me in a way that I then also didn't care about the rumbling because it felt like, I know how this is going to end. Like, this feels like it's going in a very clear direction, and to me it was like, okay, Attack on Titan was always at its best when you didn't know where it was going.
Yeah.
And you had no idea what was happening next.
See,
and I felt like that once the rumbling started, it was kind of set into this motion where I thought it was just going to go a direction, and it absolutely just did go it's a very safe direction is the direction it went in.
I was so checked out watching that season. I don't even remember that.
And it felt like
like you were talking about it.
What am I dealing
You were
with
talking about it, and I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen. I just wasn't paying attention.
okay, there was a few episodes in that season where I felt like they were just fucking wasting time.
I think the complete fucking opposite.
Really?
Yeah.
Because when I saw everyone was very annoyed, because one thing I did notice, I somehow managed to go spoiler free, so I didn't know.
Yeah.
I
somehow I went in spoiler 3 as well.
However, I did know that people did not like the ending.
Yeah.
And therefore, I thought the ending was going to be something kind of weird or kind of unusual. But to me, I felt like the ending was about as safe as you could have gone.
To me, the ending, I can see why people had issues with it, because I certainly thought that, okay, I think I really liked the ending. I thought it was very messy. In the way it was like,
well, that's getting me excited to watch it.
It was messy, but it was literally the safest outcome. It was like, if you were telling a story and you wanted to wrap this up, how do you do it in the way that you think will probably be the most conclusive?
Yeah.
In like
and will satisfy the most people.
Yeah, and will kind of be like a nice little bow on the story.
Right.
So that's what I felt. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree it was convoluted and kind of bloated. I think it was messy.
Yeah, it was messy. We'll get to the ending like eventually, but because I can't let go of this like final season part 2 yet.
Okay. Sure.
Because I thought that I'm trying to think of if there was like a weak point of it, and I would say the part that disinterested me the most is probably like the lore parts. How I described the lore parts of Attack on Titan with the Titans and stuff like that, it kind of felt like, okay, you're watching a horror movie and then there's like this mystery monster, right?
And then they reveal it.
And then they reveal the mechanics of the monster, and you're like, the charm's kind of gone. You know, it's kind of like you have to do it because, hey, you've built this mystery up, and hey, you need some kind of explanation, but there will never be kind of like that kind of, so you can't look at Titans with the same kind of fear or mystique or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know why they couldn't have just gone the Ito Junji route and just never explained the mechanics and just left it a mystery.
I mean, so much of the plot.
They were building up to explaining it.
Yeah. They were building up to explaining it. And that was definitely like my least, let's say, the part of Attack on Titan that I was interested in the least.
Pretty boring and bloated.
But I still thought it was like pretty interesting in terms of what that meant for, each character and how each character deals with these revelations. The fucking rumbling, and especially one of my favorite parts of final season Part 2 wasn't so much the event of the rumbling itself. It's how you have all these characters. You've built up all these, like, in my mind, interesting characters, and you just get to see how everyone in their own way deals with it and tries to cope with it, you know? I thought that I thought you this is what happens when you just take great characters and put them in an interesting situation. One of my favorite scenes is just when a bunch of these characters are just sitting around a fire pit, no action, just pure dialogue.
Yeah.
And I was just like, they are just talking and discussing what happened and discussing all the journeys they took to get there. And it's just, this is like compelling television. When when you have characters that have you've built up this much that all you need to do is just put them in the room together and you're like, all right, magic's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I enjoyed that segment. It was when during the final season part 2, they get to this docking village. And that's when I was like, what the fuck? This is so boring.
Docking village?
Well, they get to the village with the port. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I love that scene.
What do you mean? It's like 7 episodes. Where they're like at this place. It's so long. I don't know how many episodes it is.
You mean the one where they're stealing the boats?
Yeah, but they're around that area for quite a while, and I was like, hurry the fuck up.
Oh yeah, that did happen. I was like, what are you guys talking about?
And I'm just like, yeah, I'm trying not to get too spoilers.
Yeah.
But there's just this, and to me, Attack on Titan, I think the best season of Attack on Titan was season 3.
Yeah, season 3, part 2.
I agree with that.
What?
Season 3, part 2.
Which one is that?
It was 2 parts, remember?
Oh, right. I was like, what? I kind
The ending of season 3.
I think of all of that as 3. I don't know.
No, it's 2 parts, remember?
Yeah, it's 2 parts.
Right.
Yeah.
What was
There was
the
like
gap
a year in
them?
between.
Yeah, season 3, part 2, I suppose. Yeah, is what I'm referring to is my favorite.
Yeah.
But also, part 1 of season 3 was also really, really good.
Oh, yeah. It's
Part 3, sorry, season 3, part 1 and 2, I really liked the most. And that's when it was, I think, at its best for me. And then we had that big reveal with Eren. And then it slowly started to like taper off for me in terms of interesting. Because I felt like then they started
Or it turned into a different show.
Yeah, it was more about why the fuck this thing is giving Titan powers. And then suddenly I felt like, wow, this is the weakest part of the show yet. And so I watched season 2 of the show.
I think the weak spot was like season 1. I think season 1, you kind of get like...
I haven't rewatched it, so I think if I went back and rewatched it, I might think it's way worse.
Yeah,
I feel like I just need to binge all the seasons now. At this
I
point,
do need to
from the
go
beginning.
back and binge it and come back to this conversation.
This is like...
This is like 10 years of scatterbrain memories.
Yeah.
I'm trying to critique a show.
Yeah.
When I was fucking 17 and I watched it.
The only thing I remember is the dub scream from Environment.
Yeah, I mean, because I have like rewatched the show multiple times. Maybe not like
Opinion
the
is probably
entire...
more valid than mine.
Yeah.
Maybe not like the entirety like recently, but before, like the last time I rewatched the show was before the final season came out. I was like, I need to refresh because it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Totally worth it for me. I actually think I might have enjoyed it more during my rewatch because now that you have the context of all the reveals and everything that was kind of like part of the mystery of like Eren's basement and stuff like that, you realize, holy shit, this was all planned from the start.
Yeah, you can see all the little hints now. Right?
Yeah. There are so many hints from season
That's
1
good storytelling.
that out of context, I just like completely blanked on because I'm like, this scene makes no sense. Why is the scene here? And then you watch it, you're like, oh shit, this is like final season stuff. What the fuck? He knew from the beginning. Yeah. It's insane rewatching all of Attack on Titan.
Yeah, I do want to get back at some point and rewatch it.
But you know, part of the thing reason I think season 1 was the weakest is mostly just because you are kind of like setting up the world and the characters, and it did like Eren was at that time a much more boring character.
Oh god, he's so boring.
Well, it's just a child.
I mean, he had
fuck children, bro.
Yeah, fuck children. You know? I mean, the point is, you had to establish him as like an angry, angsty teenager who just was like fucking prone to violence.
Yeah,
and
it was the initial hook.
It was like and like at the time, I was just like, oh, he's just like every other edgy shonen protagonist out there. And then you see his growth and evolution, and that's where the payoff comes in. But still, season 1, it was more exciting because of the action scenes rather than the kind of like me being engrossed by all the character writing and everything
the character writing.
Everyone used to say that it was Game of Thrones of anime. Because Game of Thrones at the time was really big.
Wait, who the fuck was saying that?
I'm telling you.
Everyone was saying
back
that.
in the day,
Everyone was saying that.
Everyone was like, it's like Game of Thrones for anime. Everyone's dying. It's like,
It's like people die equals Game of Thrones.
well, because that was what dominated the sphere of conversation in like early 2010s.
It's
it was
like
all Game of
gaming
Thrones.
with difficulty. It's the Dark
Yeah,
Souls.
Dark Souls. Yeah.
It's the Dark Souls of hentai.
Game of Thrones with less tits.
Can't not come. Character writing.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's interesting you say that you think season 1 was the weakest, because I think the general consensus when everyone is comparing all the seasons to one another, I think the major consensus is a lot of people say season 2 was the weakest.
Season 2 was when I actually started getting invested in it.
Right.
Season 2 was when I kind of realized that, these characters are actual like characters with depth and their own goals, and it was a series that was willing to put focus on other people rather than what I thought they were.
Well, I
willing
mean, there
to
was
put
also
focus
just a
on.
lot less action in season 2 as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
so I
there
think
was.
that's what like
Season 2 was
kind
just set
of
up.
pushed a lot of people back.
Yeah, season 2 was set up, but even so, just seeing like the focus on Yumi and Historia, who were a big part of season 2. And I remember like watching season 2, I was like, okay, when are they gonna get back to like Levi and the main
the cool characters.
the big three? Who are these two little lovers who we didn't see anything about in like the first season?
I think also because there was a 4-year wait.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Between-
4-year wait,
which was like, and everyone was fucking waiting for the second season, and then
Yeah.
that's what came out. And I think people were like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. And then I think it really hit me at the end when I was like, shit, I actually really care about these two people, maybe
Yeah.
even more so than the main characters. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm actually getting invested, like properly invested in someone. Because before, when you have a character death in season 1, it was just like, we've known this person for like one episode. Like, like, it's the Levi squad. Oh, wait, no.
Nope,
Okay.
it's just Levi.
Okay, yeah, it's just Levi. And I'm like, I guess that's sad, you know, but it was obviously like very impactful, mostly I think because of like the direction and the music and everything. But how much I actually cared about anyone who got off in season 1 was just like,
Yeah,
it was all like
that's
shock factor.
Yeah.
Whereas season 2 actually started giving a shit about characters, that had absolutely no screen time in season 1. And then like the absolute fucking balls of this man to do one of the biggest reveals just in like a piece of like side dialogue. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
The betrayal scene.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
it was really-
And
yes.
then, you were expecting this kind of like big reveal to be like, haha, I am this person.
It is I.
It is I. It was me all along.
Yeah, but the
And
entire time was just like, by the way, it's me.
And in Attack on Titan, it was just like a piece of dialogue that
so
was
good,
going on
yeah.
in the background, and you had to like literally double take to be like, wait, did he just and I was like, this is like the most genius way to do like a big plot reveal like I've ever seen, because it like completely subverted expectations. So like even season 2 was like the slower season, had so many like amazing
that was one of
moments.
the best moments in the show.
Yeah.
I think it was a really
Exactly.
good highlight.
Yeah, I feel like, I remember because there was a time when I think it was just season 2 that had come out, and a lot of people were comparing it to season 1 and being like, and obviously not knowing where the story was going. So they looked at season 2, which, had a lot more new characters that you had to get yourself, invested into, and less action. So people were immediately like, season 2, not as great as season 1.
Yeah.
But again, like, I think it's until after season 3 came out that people realized that it was just a setup for season 3. And then everyone, I think that's when the appreciation for season 2 slowly started to come back. But there's still a lot of people who say season 2 was their least favorite.
Yeah, I can see why.
I think generally overall it was, but maybe the final season part 2 is my least favorite. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. I can't really think of a season I really like didn't like. There are like weaker seasons, but overall the final season as a whole, I think the latter half, I think there was like still like super like interesting things happening, like to me, like the rumbling and all like the reaction around that. I think season 4 was just really compelling character drama. Before that, I was still like really, really invested in the action scenes as well. Like, seeing like humans versus titans. Season 4, it was just like, war is war. War never changes and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I've seen this kind of thing before. The action scenes, which were equally as hype. I was actually less interested in the action scenes than just seeing characters.
Well, yeah, because it turned into a human drama.
Yeah. It's just seeing characters like talk to each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Some of my favorite scenes in season 4 were just dialogue scenes, like Eren like talking to Reiner in the basement. That was just like, you could just cut the tension with a knife in that scene, and I was like, this is just compelling television, and I fucking love it. So I don't think that there was a bad season of Attack on Titan. I think there were weaker parts, but I think overall, Attack on Titan, to me, with this ending, which I was very, very scared of because I had heard of the opinions of the manga readers, but now that I've watched it, I don't think it was the greatest ending in the world, but I think it did the job. And I think most importantly, it kind of like cemented that Attack on Titan to me is kind of like a modern classic, you know?
I think, they just stick the landing, right? I think you've already got such a crazy story and a backstory that is really already way complicated.
Yeah.
And I feel like you just do a simple ending, right? Don't do anything crazy. I think that's what they went for.
Yeah. What did you think of the ending?
Yeah, I thought it was fine. It was exactly what I thought was going to happen. Like the moment with the 4th season, part 1, or whatever the fuck started, it was just clear that it was going there.
Yeah.
Like there's like, you know, I couldn't see it. The fact that there could have been another alternative ending, but I don't think they would have gone for it.
Like, they didn't try to challenge it.
No. It felt very obvious what was going to happen.
Because is it true that the ending to the anime is slightly different?
It is slightly different. So I had to look into this because I was like, I need to know why the fuck manga readers were so pissed off.
Right.
Some of it completely fucking stupid and invalid. Right. Like it got to the point,
like the complaints or the ending.
The complaints.
Oh, right.
Like from what I understand, and manga readers, you can tell me if I'm wrong because I didn't experience.
Oh, they will.
Okay. There are some things where I'm like, there was one line. Can I say this line?
Sure.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, man.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
There was a line that was changed from the manga to the anime, and it was a line where Armin thanked Eren for becoming a mass murderer.
What is he, a true crime YouTuber? Why?
That was based content, Eren. You did a good job. Kind of high.
I'm gonna get a 20-part series out of this. Thanks.
Your KD ratio through the roof.
And I'm like, ooh, that's a spicy line right there.
So they changed that in the anime.
Yeah, so they changed that in the anime to just Armin telling Eren, Eren that hey, see you in hell, motherfucker.
Right.
And you know, it's I kind of understood.
Makes more sense.
Yeah, I kind of understood like the intention of that line, which was just Armin kind of like trying to, even though he knows Eren's a fucking bad guy and did all this bad shit, that he tried to take some of that guilt along with him because he still sees him as a friend.
Right.
The line just came out.
It just doesn't translate.
I mean, there's like...
I wonder if it was a translation thing as well.
I'm not sure.
I don't know what the original line was.
I need to see it in Japanese.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But I think some of it was just that there was just so much kind of like anticipation for the ending, right? That I don't think any amount of hype that manga readers had, the expectations, was going to be met by the manga ending at all.
Right.
Because I think, luckily, manga readers took the L for us because I think pretty much all of our expectations were tempered a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we saw what the manga readers, how the manga readers
we have the
react.
exact line. Armin says, "Thank you for turning yourself into a mass murderer for our sake."
Oh, it's even worse than what I said.
For our sake.
Oh, and Isayama expresses regret towards this line of dialogue, admitting the intent of the words didn't come across as he hoped.
Yeah.
That makes
it is
sense.
crazy how you just fuck up one line of dialogue and it's like, well, everyone thinks your story sucks.
Yeah.
But I imagine if he regrets it, then I imagine he probably told the anime staff or what they had a
It's like,
conversation.
please change.
He's like, hey, I meant to do something different here.